Hello, you're watching Access, my name's Elle, and we've decided it's high time our free games video got a sequel. Since we put together our first list, there's been a ton more brilliant, budget-friendly titles released. So if Payday seems like a lifetime away, here are 10 great games you can play for free. A quick note though, while all of these games are free to download and start playing, some features may need Plus and additional items may be paid upgrades, so check each game for details. Also, just so you know, it doesn't cost anything to hit the notification bell either, and you'll get completely free updates whenever we post new videos. Amazing, right? Alright, onto the games, and we're kicking things off with a heavy hitter, Destiny 2. That's right, if you somehow still haven't tried the sci-fi shooter, you're in luck. It's now free to play with the release of Destiny 2 New Lite. With Destiny 2 now entering its third year of release, Bungie has packaged up a serious amount of base content, including all Year 1 story missions, all patrol spaces, and both Crucible and Gambit multiplayer modes, making them free to download and play. There's the option to pick up the Year 2 content that's not included, and to join in with the latest expansion, Shadowkeep, but there are also dozens of hours of campaign and multiplayer content you can grab for nothing. Featuring a cinematic campaign, fast-paced PvP, and a lot of very cool weapons, you've really got no excuse for missing out on this space epic. And if you're worried about having to catch up, Bungie have got your back. All players and items have been boosted to 750 power to make sure new players don't get left behind. So, what are you waiting for? I'll see you in the tower, Guardians. Next up is Path of Exile, a brutal action RPG that sees you fight your way through the unforgiving world of Rayclast. Facing the world as one of 7 classes, you'll take on challenging missions to find powerful items that might just help you survive. However, what makes Path of Exile really stand out is the game's massive skill tree. With over 1,000 different passives to choose from, you can make your character completely unique. Whether you want to be a spell-casting warrior or a brawler with a bow, the skill tree lets you completely customize the way your character plays. Plus, procedural generation means every playthrough is different, with locations, monsters, and their abilities being specifically created for each encounter. And with new content arriving in the game every 13 weeks since launch, new players quite literally have an entire world to explore. Admit it, who hasn't secretly dreamed of signing up to Starfleet? Well, I might just have found the next best thing, Star Trek Online. Set in the Star Trek universe, this MMORPG sees you explore an entire galaxy filled with iconic locations from the TV series and films. But it isn't just about sightseeing. There are over 125 story episodes, plus more on the way, that play out in space and on the ground, so you'll always have an adventure ahead of you. Frankly, it's everything a Trekkie could want, with a huge fleet of customizable ships, the chance to build your very own bridge crew, and a range of avatar races including Klingon, Andorian, and Romulan. You can quite literally live out your Star Trek dreams. However, you'll need to think very carefully about the choices you make, because each one affects how you'll experience the game, especially during combat. One thing is certain, however, when it comes to Star Trek Online, resistance is futile. Our next title is the smash hit shooter Apex Legends. It's no surprise this fast-paced free-for-all took the Battle Royale scene by storm. The team behind it also worked on classic titles like Titanfall and the original Modern Warfare, so it's safe to say they know exactly what they're doing. Set in Frontier, a new region of the Titanfall universe, Apex Legends sees you choose from a continually updated roster of legends before teaming up in squads of 3 to, well, battle to the death. So far, so Battle Royale. However, it's the innovative, ingenious design touches that make Apex Legends feel so refreshing and so unbelievably good. From a slick ping system that replaces the need for callouts to a respawn mechanic that encourages teamwork, every element of the game has been fine-tuned to create the dream FPS experience. Well, except the Mozambique. Let's not talk about that. Now, if you're a fan of Life is Strange, then the awesome adventures of Captain Spirit is a no-brainer. Set in the Life is Strange universe, this sweet story follows Chris, a 9-year-old boy who just wants to be a superhero. And with your help, plus a little bit of imagination, he can be. The game sees you explore a world both real and not quite so real, uncovering clues that tell the story of Chris's life, and hint at the story to come in Life is Strange 2. There are also loads of fun, sneaky references for fans of the previous game to hunt down, too. However, if you haven't played the previous titles, don't worry. This is a game all of its own, with fully fleshed out characters, a standalone story, and plenty of big decisions for you to make. Next up is Dauntless, a challenging RPG that sees you take on the role of a slayer, which should also give you a pretty good idea of what you'll be doing. Now, the bad news is that you've arrived in a world that's under attack from giant creatures called the Behemoths. Yes, everything has a cool name in Dauntless. But the good news is that once you've killed one, you can craft some pretty incredible weapons and armour from it. I know, it seems like a bit of a chicken and egg situation, but luckily you can squad up with other slayers so you aren't taking on terrifyingly huge enemies alone. Also, and I promise this isn't just because there are giant axes, the combat is enormously fun, especially in a team. Of course, running in with a massive hammer will always win me over, but when you add in a strategy of working with a team, choosing just the right weapon and carefully timing your attacks, combat becomes more of a pleasurable puzzle and one that's always worth figuring out. However, if you prefer stealth over supersized weapons, why not try the Hitman 2 Starter Pack? This free download lets you try the first mission from Hitman 2, which kicks off in lovely New Zealand. Unfortunately, you probably won't have time to check out Hobbiton, since you'll be trying to track down the mysterious Shadow Client, as well as getting on with, your usual murdery business. However, this isn't just some quick demo. Replayability is a hallmark of Hitman, so you can always go back through and try a different weapon. Or, if you're me, a much less sneaky strat. It makes this so much more than just a single level, especially since you can also play through on normal, expert and professional, and there are more than 40 challenges to complete too. Plus, if you do decide to buy the full game, all your progress is carried over, so you don't need to worry that your assassination skills have gone to waste. So, onto Realm Royale, which, as you probably guessed from the name, is a new addition to the Battle Royale scene. However, the Paladin spin-off has a slightly different approach. It's a Battle Royale with an RPG twist, featuring potions, rideable mounts, and even a class system that lets you choose between warrior, engineer, assassin, mage, and hunter. Plus, there's crafting. Forges scattered around the game let you craft legendary weapons, armour, and abilities. Oh, and did I mention you can forge a throwing axe? However, my favourite thing has to be Realm Royale's take on being downed, which sees you turn into a tiny flag-waving chicken. Frankly, it makes players almost too funny to finish off. Almost. Next up, Pro Evo Soccer 19 Lite. That's right, you can get your hands on the undeniably excellent Pro Evo for free. Despite being called Lite, this version is packed full of content, including offline exhibition matches, training mode, and PES League mode, which lets you qualify for global events by taking part in the 3v3 online championships. And it also comes with edit mode, which lets you completely customize players, stadiums, and strips to make them your own. Access United, anyone? Best of all though, it includes My Club, so you can quite literally build your dream team. And with names like Ronaldinho, Beckham, and Maradona, choosing who to include might actually be harder than playing the game. Plus, with the inclusion of PES League My Club, you can choose to prove your PES prowess the old-fashioned way, with a 1v1. Finally, our last title is Fallout Shelter, the post-apocalyptic bunker simulation game I never knew I needed until it arrived. Set 2,000 feet underground, Fallout Shelter sees you take control of your very own vault. And given how badly that always seems to go in the main Fallout franchise, it's safe to say you've got your work cut out for you. To make a success of subterranean life, you'll need to manage every aspect of day-to-day survival. Tasks like growing food, producing energy, fending off attacks, and building the right rooms to manage a growing population. And speaking of which, you'll also need to, grow your population. So brush up on your matchmaking skills. You'll be responsible for making sure your vault dwellers find love, as if fighting off raiders wasn't quite enough work. Overall, Fallout Shelter is a brilliant addition to the Fallout family, full of the humour and quirks that make the series so entertaining. Just don't blame us if you get eaten by a deathclaw. So that's our second list of 10 free games you should definitely be playing. Let us know your favourite in the comments or share any great titles we might have missed. Make sure you've watched our first video before you do though. And as always, make sure you subscribed and hit that notification bell to stay up to date with everything from the world of PlayStation.
For the players.